Ladies and gentlemen, I think Osite has done it again. The new Osite SE DPP enclosed emitter. What will they do next? Let's get into it. You can take this out whenever you're ready. I'm such a classic country kid. I'm here born again. Amen. Gotta get a little hand back as I tap dance on the track. Praising God in advance. It's so phenomenal. Hey, nothing is better than a comfortable. Hey, thank your map with that. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to you wherever you are on the planet. It's your man's Gammage, and I am back. Ladies and gentlemen, I know. You may be thinking to yourselves, what the crap, Osite? Like, how many optics can you release in 1 year? And all I want to say is, I don't even care. Keep them coming, Osite. Listen, y'all, may I take my hat off for this one? If you know your boy, you know that I love myself the ECM Fuse Edition with the RAM tactical trigger, and I currently run, now we're empty, clear. I currently run a Defender XL on this particular firearm. Now, here's the thing, guys. In a world where firearms and optics are in abundance right now, like, you can get a optic for anything you want at this current day. But here's the beautiful thing. A red dot will not make you a better shooter. I can care less what anybody says. I am not a believer that a red dot is going to make you better. But what I will say is the right red dot will help you see what you're already capable of doing. I stand behind that. If you've been in a class with me, you know that I am going to preach that hands down. Is this my Netflix documentary? I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your man's Gammage, and I am back. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you. Do not use the app DualShot. Don't do it. Rarely do I ever speak out against certain things, but this particular app jacked up my entire video. I recorded upwards of 40+ minutes of information that you know nothing about now. Why? Because this app decided to do something on its own and compress the head and separate the volume from, like, it was ridiculous. And so I will roll in footage in my attempt to forever be completely honest with you guys. We did a review on the new SE DPP from Osite. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, just to jump straight to the end, I do really like this optic. I am going to roll in different pieces from the actual video, pieces that we can now just savage and use as B-roll. Since that video, I've also lost my voice, but I did owe Osite a formal review of this particular product, and I could not produce and showcase that as its ending. That's not our forte. Big ups to Osite for getting this particular optic into our hands so that we can get behind it and take a look. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for us, if you know me, you know I absolutely love my everyday carry. Primary everyday carry is the R11 by ECM, and it is the 365 Fuse done up by Pew Pew CNC. It is unloaded and clear, and this particular firearm has been phenomenal. We actually were running this particular this particular piece with a Defender XL. If you ask the question, how did you get the oversized, full size, extra large and girthy optic of a Defender XL footprint on the body of a Fuse? hats off to the folks over at Pew Pew CNC. Contact Jeff and let him know that Gammage sent you. You can do that by just using the discount code Gammage at checkout. But Jeff over at Pew Pew CNC milled this thing out to be able to accept the Defender XL. It was slightly larger than what the footprint actually is, but beautiful. Hear me when I tell you, because we could fit the Defender XL on here, we now literally had a Delta Point Pro footprint. Guys, the thing that I love about Osite with this DPP footprint release, the SE DPP, the reason I dig this is because for individuals who are familiar with the Delta Point Pro footprint, you know that the optic was beautiful. Like, there was a lot to love about the enormous window that you saw, and not a lot of body. Like, it had like the little shroud around the top, but it wasn't a lot of body that you had to worry about. Well, freaking Osite improved on that, which I'm a fan of. Osite improved on it, and they created the SE DPP, which is an enclosed emitter that sits on the Delta Point Pro footprint. Same exact size. Matter of fact, it's a tad bit bigger than the Delta Point Pro in eye relief wise, and this sucker is absolutely phenomenal, guys. So we've actually been out and ran it a few times and got some shots behind it. But here's the beautiful thing about Osite. They are not trying to replace the SRO or the 507 comp. I mean, we have both of them. Well, we've had some SROs. We don't have any more because we've gotten away from it. Typically now that we're shooting more, we've kind of landed in our niche of optics, and we prefer the square body optics, not the full mailbox look, but I am a fan of square body optics versus round. So SRO, phenomenal optic, just no longer my speed. With that said, the window, when you first get behind the SE DPP, you'll notice how easy it is to find the dot. I'm talking about the window, yeah, is just that slightly bigger. It's like the 0.91 by 0.71 inches. Is nearly identical to the Delta Point Pro. So you ain't even really, you're not missing much of nothing when you switch from a Delta Point to this DPP SE. Osite is definitely aiming for the everyday carry individual to give us something that has a generous size window on a footprint that we can actually carry and be comfortable with. I'm not capable of saying whether or not it's duty ready just yet, simply because I don't have enough testing behind it. Since we've had the optic, we've put probably about, I'm gonna say 250 rounds behind it, literally just putting in other shooters' hands, allowing them to run it and think, and it has been great. I've had guys in classes who they've literally cut cards with this baby. And again, the optic does what the optic do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about areas in which the SE DPP from Osite shines, of course you're talking about the cost. When you look at the MSRP of the DPP, we're talking about sub $200, and you get into the footprint of a Delta Point Pro and that eye relief without having to spend the Delta Point Pro coinage, if you get what I'm saying. That market at the Delta Point Pro, LEUPOLD has it, and they have it for a nice chunk of change. You can get the SE DPP, half of that, same exact window size, clarity better, if you ask me. I'm a shooter, and I would say better. And enclosed. Why? Side loading tray on the DPP. It was at the top. It was cool if you had that little tool to open it up. If not, you can do a flathead, but then you mar it up sometime. But side loading tray with this one, I find it hard. I find it hard not to give Osite their props for what they're capable of doing and what they've been able to do with the red dots that they're coming out with. The tint on the window is another one that you'll see that it's just, again, helps out. And I dig that, man. Here's the truth, though, ladies and gentlemen. Truth is, a red dot's not going to make you a better shooter. It's not. A good red dot will, though, allow you to see what you're capable of doing a whole lot faster. Now, whatever you're capable of doing, you can run. In this current market, there are tons of freaking red dots and optics that you can use. I am a fan of the Osite brand because they continue to reinvent themselves in ways that the consumer desires and wants. One thing about the DPP, the Delta Point Pro, is there was no tint on that glass. And so on hot Florida range days, there were several times if I was running one on my Beretta, if I was running one on the Prodigy, there were several times that the dot would just wash out and you couldn't see anything. I think we ran it on the Echelon for a while as well. But when you get into those bright days, you don't see nothing, man. So big ups to Osite for creating an enclosed emitter and one that can handle the elements. We've actually had a few rainy days here recent, and we've been able to allow water just to kind of hit this thing and see exactly what was happening with it. But guys, even in the water, the emitter, no distortion, no, because of course nothing to bubble up on anything, and so no distortion, dots still remain clear. And for a civilian like myself, I look for things like that, like things that just make carrying realistic and great for me. I'm not doing duty patrol missions and things of that nature, not to demean them. I'm not doing those. And so racking it off stuff and hitting and debris, like I don't really need to test to see if it can handle those things. I don't. What I am really comfortable with is being able to draw this firearm, get behind it, and that dot be right where I want it to be immediately. Something that we did do with ours, we did switch. Originally when we were running the Defender XL, we had a suppressor height optic or sight on the front. That front sight, it was taking up too much window space in the SE, and so we dropped it down to a standard sight. And with that standard sight behind this freaking Osite SE, the window is very generous. And something else I'm a fan of now, I love the extra eye relief of the Defender XL, but I am going to keep this SE on here for the simple fact it gives me this smaller profile. I love the weight of the R11, being able to maneuver and move this thing, and then with the capability of clarity, precision, quickly. That's what you're getting with the 2 MOA dot, or if you have that 32 MOA and dot circle, you get the best of both worlds still. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of that said, hats off to freaking Osite. You guys have done it again. I believe you continue to listen to your consumers and provide the things that we're actually asking for. Now, Osite, truth be told, I am a green connoisseur. Due to the stigmatism, I am a green connoisseur. I did get behind a few gold dots here recently by Holosun, and I can't even hold y'all. Like, that gold gives me like the hint of green, but it's sexy. It is sexy. Osite, I'm asking you, let's get the SE in green. Can we get the SE in green, Osite? Can we please? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your man's Gammage. Until next time, never compare, never complain, and never compete. Why? Because you are the solution. Deuces.